Good morning. Today we can to introduce it a little more about the paper industry and the process they use for the production of paper. Introducing, my name is Julian David Ruiz Fernandez and my friend.
Natalia Jaramillo.
Introduction. The paper industry process three fibrous paper and another fibrous materials into pulp, paper, and cardboard. Become a great variety of products in the end are riding for construction grade cardboard with the brick paper. The paper consists of the series of vegetal fibers of various origins, with a wide content of the cellulose that will be processed to about the various final products. It is a material made from ground and used to make paper. The woods that are usually used the manufacture of the pulp woods such as pine and sugarcane. The production of the paper with grass of the bagasse from the current turns to the base shelling, since the end product is not 100% reusable. This happens because of the number of the process that the microfibers of the bagasse undergo.
Okay, steaming is a process of mass transfer. Bagasse arrive in a cold way before it is shaken and crushed with a few hammers that hit in safe in order to reduce its size and use make the most of all the biomass of bagasse come from the use separate fiber from the marrow to get a fiber-rich raw material ready for coconut. For this process, waste crushed or demulators later, known as a screen, can be used. The second process important is pulp washing. With this washing, they is to remove our impurities or contaminants that it has and to separate the pulp of the black liquor by means of filters that have a flow against to current, where the residual liquor of the cooking separates this liquid called a black liquor that is processed in the right or B means of rotating drums. Once remove impurities in addition to begin feed hot water or cold water. After this, the pulp is subject to cleaning process. This process is one of mass transfer, where afterwards you can use the base called a mesh filter. Okay, the third process important is pulp bleaching. This process is where you want to remove, in a few words, bleaching the pulp that come out of brown color of the previous process, pulp that you remove the excess lignin and that has a same pulp, and this is achieved bleaching the pulp with chemical reactions like chloride and dioxide to 1% aqueous solution. This happens after washing and filtration. This process is considered as a mass transfer. In the block diagram, we can observe a kind of mass balance in all the inputs and outputs of the unit process required in the production of paper, such as the safe or demulators, where can you observe the units measurement in which each unit process is located. Since most are presented in kilotons over the year, in addition to other percentage of chemical used for some process such as white and paperboard.
Below is the diagram of the equipment for the production of the paper and the pulp, as follows. 1. Digestor. 2. Saver. Is a equipment that the use for disease classification is the function material separation be safe. 3. Blader. 4. In the box. 5. That paper machine. 6. Filter press. 7. Drying cylinders. Its function is the removal of the water for the use for be means on uniform temperature distribution. Caladra. Process grid is possible to reduce the thickness of the sheet ingress and the descent and improve the soundness with the gloves. Considering the Colombian market and the last technology advances, there is evidence on the growth with 15 companies in the chain of the production of the 1,018,647 tons of the paper and board, with 13% export of the paper and board. Compared to the Spanish market, they have strategies of the local plantation for the use of wood, exporting 6 million tonnes of the paper and yarn. This paper has been certified by the Environmental Management System in the 97% of their production.
Hazardous waste, generation of atmospheric emissions such as PM10. This particulate made a low emission produce the increase of sulfur dioxide and nitrogen monoxide and carbon dioxide, which are organic compounds compared to the carbon dioxide, which is produced with the constant burning of biomass. But this do not mean a big problem, since these emissions are very low so much that the plants consume these nutrients, and thus they can help in the synthesis of monoxide. In conclusion, the carbon dioxide produced do not alter the net increases of carbon dioxide. Non-cancerous waste. One the most common waste that is generated and in greater quantity is in the ash, and its production is generated in the implementation of some boilers or process where about 203,852 on non-generations waste, generating that in conclusion and are these industrial waste and that come from biomass is used for recovery of soils as natural fertilizer and clay exploitation.
I can be said that in the recent years Colombia has strengthened its production of pulp, paper and cardboard, thus increasing its industrial PAB annually. New strategies for paper production with sustainable raw materials have been generated through energy technology advances and innovation in the industry, a time of the implementation of the techniques that reduce production costs and the impacts generated on the environment. The implementation of new production mechanisms has created new opportunities to explore edge of the process and raw materials used, proving customer security and the new sources of employment.